Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm going to tell you about how I survived Amber.EXE. It was 10:45 p.m. I was looking out my window watching the rain dive into the streets and sidewalk until I began to feel hungry and started craving a movie. I walked away from my window and went down to the kitchen to make popcorn. I waited for the popcorn to be done. I was thinking which movie to watch until a knock came from the door. I walked over to the door and looked out the peephole. There was a girl standing at my doorstep. I opened the door, and there stood the girl. She looked about 16. She had brown hair that draped over her shoulders slightly, and the tips of her hair were dyed black. She wore a strapless black shirt that showed about an inch of her stomach, and some black skinny jeans with a neon purple belt. She also wore black and white striped sleeves that looked like sewed into her arms. She looked half-starved, and her neon green eyes glowed in the darkness. It felt as if she was staring into my very soul. Um, can I help you, miss? I asked. The girl nodded as she stared at me with those soul-eating eyes. Well, what do you want, sweetie? I asked cautiously. The girl held out her hand. Her hands weren't normal. Her hands were black, and her fingers were like sharp nails, and in her hand she held out 3 dice. I want to play the dice game, she said. I stared at her. I'm sorry, hon. I don't really want to play any game right now, I told her carefully. Her calm, sweet smile turned into an evil black face as she glared at me. Why not? She asked me, and her voice sounded glitchy, and her arm twitched. I'm sorry, I told her, feeling guilty as I closed the door. No, we are going to play the dice game, said a glitchy voice from behind me. I turned around and saw the girl. How did you get in here? I asked shakily. The girl sat down at the coffee table and patted opposite seat from her and gestured to me to sit. I walked over and sat down across from her. My name is Amber.EXE. Now, these are the rules. If you roll the numbers 555, you win. If you roll the numbers 666, you lose. Same rules apply for me, but opposite. She told me, and every so often her voice would glitch. I nodded as I took the dice she gave me. I rolled the dice and got the numbers 555. I looked at the girl. She smiled slightly. Good job. Now for round 2, she told me. I smiled and nodded. I rolled the dice and got the numbers 656. Be careful. I almost won, the girl said. I suddenly felt uneasy and nodded and rolled the dice with a shaky hand. My eyes widened and looked at the girl. She had a giant creepy grin that was spread across her face. She picked up the dice and showed it to me. You got the numbers 666. She paused. Her voice became more glitchy than it had been ever since she got here. She almost sounded like a glitched video game character. I win, she told me. The girl got up and grabbed my wrist and threw me on the couch and laughed. The look in the girl's eyes was not saying. What are you? I asked the girl quietly. Me? Why, I'm a glitch. I'm the type of glitch that haunts you, plays with you. I get inside of your head and paranoia. I'm only just having fun, right? She said in a glitchy voice. She brought out a hatchet from her belt, and she tried stabbing me with it. I dodged and took the hatchet from her, and tried throwing it at her, but she laughed and disappeared, her creepy psychotic laughing growing fainter each second. Then soon, the hatchet disappeared right out of my hand, and I never saw her again. But every so often my phone, my tablet, or a computer will glitch. Words appear on the screen saying, I won, and I will again, and again. I've also experienced severe night terrors, nausea, paranoia, coughing up blood and vomiting blood, which I suppose it was her messing with me. But just remember this. If you ever have a girl knock on your door and she asks you to play the dice game, just be aware that your life may come to an end.